Welcome everybody. I'm Kathy and here we are in the Pacific coast of Guatemala with an excellent biologist, Alfredo Valle. Please, Alfredo, tell us a little bit about your background and your experience.
Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, you and the people from Columbus. A couple of years ago, I've been working here in the southern coast of Guatemala because we found that the richness of biodiversity in this area is very high, but it's very unknown also. Most of the people is concerned about the biodiversity in the mountains and also in the lowlands of Petén, but we also have a great richness in this area. And by fortune, with this problem of the pandemic, we came to this area and we found a great richness of birds, for example, but also we can find a great richness of sea turtles in this area. So it's a paradise, not just for the biodiversity, but also for the ecotourism.
Ecotourism, and
Yes.
Thank you for talking about ecotourism. This is becoming like really popular nowadays. So please tell us, what is the real sense or meaning of ecotourism?
Well, for me, ecology means is the science who study the relationships, but in these relationships is also included the men, and we have a great nature, but you saw the people we were working today with, the society, the people who is taking part of the work today, the fishermen, and the people who help us here, the children who live in this place also, they are part of the environment also. So the ecotourism for me is the industry which takes part of the environment, the society, and the biodiversity also. If you have them working together, then you have ecotourism.
Fabulous. No, totally agree. It's the balance.
Yes.
Working with the local community and the resources and the visitors. So I totally understand that. So now that we're talking about, that you are a biologist, I would like to know, what are you mainly focusing on? You mentioned that you came due to the pandemic and that you are focusing on the south Pacific coast of Guatemala. So what are you doing nowadays?
Okay. Basically, we are doing we're developing two main targets, or focusing on two targets. The shorebirds, the migratory shorebirds. There is a big quantity of shorebirds traveling for all the coast of America, and we are a big part of that. In Guatemala is an important point. It's not a point, that's the thing. We have more than 300 kilometers of coast in Guatemala. Cool. So the birds they need to travel and cross Guatemala. They need to find some food. They need to find some places to rest in this area.
Sure.
So we are an important area, and we have, during the last 3 or 5 years, we have found many different species of birds that before we didn't know they have been here in Guatemala. They have been here for a long time, but we didn't know.
Cool.
Yes, because we are not making a right investment in research. But now we know they are here. Also, so the shorebirds is one. We are making a lot of studies, and many Guatemalans ONGs are making investment in research in shorebirds in this area, because it's very important. If you break the link in this point, you are killing the birds for all the rest of America also.
Sure, I see. We are like the bridge
Yes, it's a part of the bridge, an important part of the bridge, 300 kilometers of the coast. So now Zipacate also is important because we are in the center. Easily you can move 50 kilometers to the west, 50 kilometers to the east, and make a good research along the chain of the different coasts. I don't want to talk about, this is not exactly the coast because there is a lot of different ecosystems here. You can see this is a pond. We have the canal, we have the mangrove. You can see the salt production on this area. The production of salt, the migratory birds, they love that production. There's a lot of them taking food from that area. So it's important. And also I don't know if you know something about the industry of the salt. It's hard to produce salt, but it's very cheap. Very, very cheap. But it's another interesting thing. So we're working migratory birds, and actually in this pond we have one of the most important population of sea turtles in America. In America, yes.
America.
They have a lot of places in Mexico, but the population is very high in this place, and there is no one study of the sea turtles in this area. Now we're studying, but we are just studying. But we pretend to make a serious study about the turtles, how many they are, how important are the different seasons for the population. They are always here, they are always the same. We don't know that kind of things,
Sure.
how many they are. A lot of things. We're developing many micro studies, micro research about the turtles in this area, because it's iconic from this side of the country.
So talking about the side of the country that we are located, you mentioned its name is Zipacate.
Zipacate.
So in Zipacate, in this pond, do you or have you found multiple species?
Yes. Usually we have in mind, most of the people have in mind the parlama, what we call the parlama. The
Claro.
parlama is the sea turtle Lepidochelis olivaceae. They come from all the Pacific Ocean and they lay eggs on the coast of Guatemala. But the turtles that we can have found here is La Chelonia midas, which is called the green turtle. It's not exactly green, it's just a name. It's the green turtle, and also many people doesn't know about that, the carey turtle also. It's rarest. It's rarest than the green turtle. But we have also carey here.
Oh,
It's two different species. They stay here. They found some food in this area, and then they travel to the coral reefs, and they lay eggs in many sites in the world. But actually, we have just few data about that. We have one record in Japan, one in the United States, one in Costa Rica, but what we don't know, they are traveling everywhere from this area.
fantastic.
Yes.
So, Alfredo, we are focusing to share information, knowledge, culture to the public that is with us, and we want you to, share the main interest in working with, in this case, turtles and the birds. So, what could you share to inspire others?
For me, the most important thing is if we make science, it doesn't work if the common people who is at home, they don't care about that. They don't know about that. If we don't reach them, we are not making real science at last. We are producing data, and we are keeping the data in our pockets. But it's necessary to take this information, take it to the people. But the best way, I think, is invite these people to come to these areas. It's not the same to hear about a sea turtle if you can see a turtle directly today is a different thing. It's the same with the resplendent quetzal, for example. You can hear about that, it's a beautiful bird, but if you see the bird, then you feel something in your heart.
Sí,
Something
totally.
changes. So I think this could be the same. The people should be invited to come to this area with the tour operators and visit this area. And when they can be close to this thing, something will change in them, and then they will be able together, or we'll be able to change something, to make something real. We need better law enforcement, that kind of things. We need that, but it's easier if you come here and you live this experience. It will be easier for all of us.
Sure, totally. And now that you're talking about what is needed, what have you found that it's like the predator, or what's the negative elements that you have found around your work?
Well, specifically in the turtles, we need to make some law to avoid the fishermen. They run too much in the boats here, and they need to stop a little, and so that the turtles can move away, and they will not be hit by the boats. That's our big problem in this area. With the birds, we need more protected areas, but not totally protected. That's the thing. We can have mangrove like this. As I told you, the salt production is great for the birds. We need to keep these different ecosystems to keep all the health of the birds and keep this movement that have been here, this movement of birds that have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, and that's what we can do now. But many organizations are exactly in this moment starting to focus on this area. So we can start. The common people can start to look for this information. Who's working here? Okay, WCS or Fundaeco, for example, they are starting to work here. Or WWF also is starting to work. What they are doing here? How can I be included in this thing, and come to visit us directly, the people from here? I think is the best.
Great. And so I would like to know, and I would like also for everybody that is looking at us, before coming here, because we have been focusing on in Zipacate, before this, what was your experience? How did you fall in love with biology?
Well,
because this
is too long.
But it's not that common. It's not that common.
It's something I would like to talk about the biology, maybe. Most of the children in Guatemala, they don't have the opportunity to know about the different things they can do. And I mean children into the towns, into the country. They don't have, they are not close with a biologist or an architect or archaeologist. They are not close to that people. So what they are going to be in the future, they are close to a teacher. They want to become a teacher. They don't know more. But something I found by fortune when I was a children. I loved to work with the nature and all this stuff. Then when I went to the university, I discovered the biology, and I became biologist. But it was by luck, I think. But many of the children here into the country, we don't know how many biologists, not just biologists, archaeologists, many things, doctors,
writers,
we don't have, because the common children into the country, they don't have the access to know about the different professions or how to use, I don't know, the equipments, different equipment. Maybe they are very able to use them, but we don't know. And something that we need is to to share all this information also with the local people, with all these children, so they can discover
Sure.
all the thing.
Getting them the experience.
Maybe I got a little away from your,
No,
your
it's
question,
perfect.
but
It's perfect.
I think this is one of my concerns actually, to take all this information to all the children in this area. Maybe they will become the biologist in the future.
Fabulous.
You don't have to go to the university to be a biologist. You need to learn how to, and you need to produce information which is useful. Yes, I know at least a couple of biologists that are really biologists, and they haven't been at the university. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, but the better is if you go.
Of course.
The best is if you go to the university, you learn how to use the science and the tools of the science to do what is necessary to do.
Fabulous. And when you are just mentioning about children and how limited our options, right? So the careers that they see or they are like listening about is accountants, teachers. I totally agree with you. We really need people to be close to the different opportunities that they can see in the future, right? So they
Yes.
can be inspired. So I really appreciate that you are bringing that to light. And how long have you been in? I know, because I know, but I want the people to know too. I know that you're a biologist, but you have also worked into the tourism industry.
Yes, for a long time, about 20 years more or less, I think.
20 years.
Yes, and it was because one person I consider a biologist also, but he's not a biologist. He's making what the biologist, one of the tasks the biologist should do. He's the man with the ideas. So he brought to this country the idea of the birding, the birding tourism.
Okay, como
Yes.
bird watching.
Yes, the bird watching, yes. Then I found, I'm a biologist, but I also can work as tourist guide with this in this industry. Both things can
Combining.
work together. Yes, and then I started to do both things at the same time, and for me has been a great time to work in tourism, because it's very exciting. You know, this is very exciting to work in tourism, and biologist also is very exciting, and combine them for me is great.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Well, thank you everybody, and it's been wonderful to have the time and opportunity. Alfredo, thank you, because we know that you have been, taking off part of your time and sharing us all this richness and about Zipacate and all the different alternatives that you have been working at, birds and sea turtles. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Alfredo. And last words you want to share?
Well, thanks. Thank you for your visit, and there are many little things about this area that you can discover. Many things. I'm sure. We think that we know everything about the coast of Guatemala, but there are many things to discover. So we invite you to visit Zipacate and many areas. But there are many places here to visit, and not just to collaborate with the conservation, but also to get some fun in these areas.
Fabulous.
A great place to visit.
Thank you so much. There you go. So stay tuned. We are going to bring more topics to you. So we really appreciate that you keep tracking on us. Stay safe.